Hello everyone, my name is Olga and welcome to my channel. I'm a sketchbook artist and today I'm going to share with you how to make your own perfect sketchbook. While recording this video, I made these 9 cuties. So let's begin. First we need to prepare the paper, and in this video I'm making 2 different formats of the sketchbooks. One will be the portrait sketchbook and the second one with cold press watercolor paper will be small square sketchbook. In the right corner you can see how I cut and fold the paper. While I'm cutting 2 different papers, you will see 2 different examples. The solid line means that I cut along this line, and dashed line means that I will fold later. I prefer to tear my paper apart instead of cutting it with a knife, because I like when my sketchbooks have deckled edges. And also while cutting the paper, I don't turn it. I'm trying to keep the position of the paper. I will turn it later when I begin to fold it. We need it if you, like me, prefer to draw over the whole spread. We need to have even sides when we make sketchbook, if you prefer to work on the same spread, because not all the papers are double-sided, and even if they are, the texture might be different, and if you work with watercolor you will notice the difference. So that's why don't turn it while you're cutting it. We will do it later when we will be preparing the signatures. We also need to cut end papers. We will use it to glue the cover to the sketchbook. So I'm cutting 2 of each for each sketchbook. And now we're making the signatures. I'm turning each second page upside down, as you can see. And my signatures will have 2 pieces of paper in each. I'm folding it and pressing. I'm protecting my signatures with print paper, just to not leave any marks and not ruin the texture. As you can see, I work in gloves right now because I don't want to make any stains on paper, and also the paper is cotton, so it sucks all the water from my hands, and they're very dry, so I prefer to protect my hands as well. Now you can see I'm making the second sketchbook, the square one, and I also turn each second piece of paper upside down and making signatures, 2 pieces of paper in each. I'm using a few very simple tools. As you can see, this red plastic thing is a substitute for the binder bone, and just a ruler, glue, and some cutting board. Now it's time to mark where I want to have my holes. I put some marks with a pencil, and then use the piece of cardboard and a very thin needle to punch the holes. I prefer to make them thin, so when I work with watercolor, water won't leak that much through those holes. And I carefully punch the holes in each signature and fold it back again. The next step is to measure a piece of thread which you will use to sew them together. It is easy to measure how much cord do you need. Just take the length of one signature and multiply it by the number of signatures, adding some amount for the ends. And first I take 2 signatures together. I put a binder's clip in the middle of each signature, securing them together, because I need 2 openings of the signatures. And I start with the first one. I put the needle from the outside and go through the whole signature to the end, and then I put my needle inside the second signature in the very last hole and stitch just one stitch and make just one stitch. Then again I put my needle inside the second hole of the first signature where I have the thread going through the whole signature, and go around this cord to secure that. And then again put the needle inside the second hole of the second signature, go one step up making a stitch, and then back into the third hole of the first signature to secure the cord inside it. And then I repeat the process up to the top. So inside the second signature, one stitch up, then inside the first signature, securing the cord. You can make the holes more often, but I found that 1 inch is enough. When you get to the last hole, put your needle outside and tie a knot. So you don't need to hold the end of the cord anymore. Then we're going to attach the third signature. For that, I'm securing it again with the binder clips. I will secure the first signature on the side so it won't distract me. And then I will secure second and the third. So the second will be totally inside the binder clip. And the half of the third signature will be secured together with the second signature. Like this. You can see it on the video. We will be stitching inside the third signature and in between of the first and second. Now our cord is on the top of the sketchbook, so we're going back again into the first hole and moving down one step at a time. So make one stitch, and then we put needle in between of the first and second signatures around the stitch, around the cord. Making a tiny knot, and again move it back into the third signature, one step down, and in between of the first and second signatures around the knot. You can tie a knot, but it's not necessary. It's enough just to go around this cord. And repeat this process all the way down. the same thing we will do with all other signatures. I will show you one more on a little bit bigger speed. I usually prefer not to make my sketchbooks big. I don't use more than 6 signatures. Because I like them when they're lightweight, since I'm carrying them around in my bag all the time. When I reach the end, I just tie a little knot to secure my cord. And the last signature in this sketchbook. Now I'm securing the whole 3rd signature and half of the 4th, because I'm going to stitch inside the 4th signature and in between of the 2nd and 3rd, and I'm going up this time. So when I finish, my 2 cords will coincide on the top. Okay, so I make 1 stitch up this time inside the 4th signature, and then I go in between of 2nd and the 3rd signatures to tie a knot. If you have odd numbers of signatures, just tie a knot, and you can later glue your end of the cord to your cover. Okay, so I finished. I'm making a knot and cutting my cord. As you can see, I already stitch a few sketchbooks together, and it usually takes me no more than 10 minutes to connect signatures for one sketchbook. Next step, which is totally optional, is to glue the spine. I sometimes don't do that, especially if I make sketchbooks with thicker paper, but you should understand that then your signatures will be moving a little bit. So if you work on the both sides of the spread, then in between the signatures your picture might look not even, but I'm okay with that. So I glue the spine with the all-purpose glue, and in these sketchbooks I also glue end papers. Also, this step is optional, because if you have more pages than I do in these sketchbooks, and you can just glue to the cover first and last page, or you can even stitch your end paper, so some other paper, to the sketchbook and glue that to your cover. In these sketchbooks I'm making end papers, so I will be gluing that to my cover. I secured that with the bigger binder clips, and will leave to dry it overnight. You can also use the press, but be ready that if your glue is liquid, it might leak on one side. As you can see, I put my sketchbooks to dry down the spine, so my glue don't go deep inside the sketchbook, and I leave it overnight. While it's drying, I am preparing the covers. I make two separate pieces for each sketchbook. This time I decided to make all with the black paper. So I put a piece of cardboard and I glue the paper to that. You can see the whole process on the video. I tried different type of covers. I tried paper, I tried fabric. I even sometimes leave just cardboard. To glue the paper to the cardboard, I use glue stick because it dries faster and it doesn't buckle the paper. I only use liquid glue on the corners. Sometimes if my cardboard is too thick, it helps me to secure the edges. But the rest of the cover and end papers I glue with a glue stick. I didn't record how I connect two pieces of the cover together. I usually use a piece of vinyl fabric, just 2 inches wide. I glue it using fabric glue to both sides of the cover and leave it to dry overnight as well. All my covers are dried. Here's the example of that fabric which I have. And now it's time to glue the sketchbook inside the cover. As I already mentioned, I used the glue stick. I also recycle some magazines when I glue it to protect the sketchbook from the glue. So carefully put it together and press it with the binding bone. And repeat this process on the other side. All my sketchbooks opens flat. Some of those sketchbooks which I made in this video I added to my Etsy shop. Go and check it out. If you like what I did and prefer to buy instead of making your own, you're always welcome. I will leave the link in the description below. If you found it useful, please like and share. Thank you for watching and see you in the next videos.